Right, you lot, let's talk England. And I've seen a lot of pundits doing wacky lineups. Anthony Gordon starting, Declan Rice in a 6 holding on his own, Kobe Mainoo in the starting 11, Kieran Trippier at left back for England. But we are just 2 days away from England's Euro opening game as I record this video. I'm in the kitchen again because we're cooking up an England lineup to take on the best at this tournament and start off strong in our group. We're going to be going over the lineup, why I think those players should be in the lineup to start this game, including injury concerns, etc, etc. I'm going to pick it on Gareth Southgate's formation that he likes to play of a 4-3-3, even though personally I'll do something a little bit different. And hopefully you guys will agree. If you don't, leave a comment down below. I'll be covering the Euros in a lot of depth in terms of England going forward. So if you are an England fan like myself, leave a like, subscribe. Let's get into how I would line England up for our first game of Euro 2024. So we're going to be using the BBC's Euro 2024 calculator predictor, choose your opening lineup. We're going to stick with Gareth Southgate's 4-3-3 as previously mentioned, and then on screen I'll be popping up statistics that I think are relevant to the players that I am picking. So in goal, there's no debate about this one. It's Jordan Pickford. I think he's better than Ramsdale, better than Henderson as well. Those are clearly our backup options. Pickford has been Southgate's #1 England keeper literally since I think the start of Southgate coming into the role. He had a good season for Everton. His XG prevented, I think, was pretty decent. I think it was up there with some of the highest in the league. And let's not forget he was playing for an Everton side where he faced a lot of shots and managed to keep out a decent amount of goals. So I'm happy with it. I think he has got to be the starter for us. And there's not really too many stats to talk about for him. But yeah, for me, definitely he is in the squad. We move on to our right back options. Now there's a couple here. You have Trent Alexander-Arnold. In terms of on the ball, fantastic. Kyle Walker, probably England's best right back of the last 10 years. Kieran Trippier, Ezri Konsa, obviously a Villa boy, could fit in there, but for me I think it has to be Kyle Walker. I think he's one of the best right backs in the world. Trent, again, defensively is a little bit suspect, and I think Walker at the moment is just better and fits this England team well. He adds a massive amount of physicality and pace to the back line. Stats this season for City have been good. He doesn't show any signs of slowing down. And I think, again, wingers are such a big part of football nowadays. I think you need those quick, strong fullbacks to deal with that. And I think Kyle Walker is very much that type of player. I don't think this is the type of game where you can have Trent at right back almost inverting into midfield. We're going to have to be dealing with the likes of Mitrovic up front, who can be an absolute handful, as we know. And I think Walker, for me, is the best option. We move on to our right centre-back. Now, John Stones is currently quarantined with an illness and has been struggling with injury. So I think there's only one choice for this position, and that is our man, Ezri Konsa. I think he's going to start England's first game. Now, if John Stones gets back from this illness and he's fit for this game, I think absolutely he is your choice to start at right centre-back. But in the absence of him, I don't think there's anyone else that can fill in and do a good job quite like Ezri Konsa. And I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I think a Villa player is going to start at the Euros for England in our first group game, and that is absolutely amazing. Now, Ezri Konsa this season, honestly, guys, I think he's only been dribbled past twice or something the whole season. In terms of duels won, he's right up there with the best. I think it's only Van Dijk that's actually better at one-on-one defending than Ezri Konsa. And if Kyle Walker's going to push up the pitch, then Konsa might be exposed. He might have to do that one-on-one defending, and I think he's the type of player that can do it very, very well. And that's why he is my pick for the right centre-back slot for England. We move on to our left centre-back now. Again, I'm very, very surprised that Jared Brathwaite didn't go with the England squad. Again, Stones injured, no Maguire, who is left-footed, and I'm very, very much a fan of having a left-footed centre-back at left centre-back for England. And for that reason, I'm going to go for Mark Guehi. Naturally, left-footed, very, very good on the ball, which is very, very important. I think England are going to have a lot of possession in this game, and we're going to be building from the back. Another reason why Konsa is a very, very solid shout at right centre-back. Guehi this season for Crystal Palace has proven he's more than capable of being an elite centre-back. A lot of Europe's top clubs circling around him as an option to bring in to their back line. And I think he could be a very, very good choice for this game. We move on to left back. For me, is a bit left field. It's Joe Gomez. Played really, really well, actually, for Liverpool this season in that role. And I think he can come in and do a job and rotate into part of a back three if Kyle Walker is asked to push further up the pitch. There's a lot of talk about possibly Luke Shaw. I don't think he's going to be back fit for this game. I think that's almost been confirmed now. I don't like Kieran Trippier at left back for England. I don't think he's quick enough, and I don't think it's his position. He hasn't had the greatest season for Newcastle. I'll throw some of his defensive stats on the scene. But Joe Gomez, I think much better this season at left back, and for me he has to go in there, adds a bit of physicality to deal with the likes of Mitrovic as well, because he's a big lad, and I think he can really do a job there in this game and solidify the defensive line. We move on to our midfield, and in that middle slot for me, the player that's going to have to be a bit more of a pivot and drop down into that number 6. Now we actually have an abundant of talent at this position. I have to admit, you know, the likes of Adam Wharton, been really impressed with him this season and his stats. Again, Trent Alexander-Arnold as a defensive midfielder has been mentioned, Kobbie Mainoo as well, but for me it has to be Declan Rice. I understand that he has been better, you know, for Arsenal in an attacking sense this season, but defensively he is still a very, very good CDM option. I think he's going to play, you know, in that, you know, midfield 3. I think he will be the player that's asked to drop a little bit deeper. Started his career as a centre back. His defensive understanding of the game and defensive actions, as I'll throw on the screen, are very, very good. And again, I think he's just a natural choice, and that allows the other two players in this position to be a little bit more free roam. Now let's just get the one out of the way that everyone knows is going to play, and that is Jude Bellingham. Yes, I probably wouldn't play him as a number 10. There isn't really a number 10 in a 4-3-3 setup, which I think is how we're going to go. You know, he likes that midfield 3, does Southgate. You know, Bellingham has to be in there. I am a little bit worried that he has burnt out this season, but you throw his stats on the screen for Real Madrid, won La Liga, won the Champions League, was influential in both competitions, goals and assists galore, but also covers a lot of ground, and his defensive actions are very, very good. I don't foresee him playing in the number 10 role for Real Madrid long term. I think he's definitely more of a number 8, and his physical attributes are a test to the fact that he is going to be one of the best number 8s in world football for the next 10-15 years if he can keep up the level that he's playing at the moment. So no doubt in my mind that he will be in there. I think he's going to be transitioned into a number 8 this tournament, and we need him both defensively because we're weak defensively and he's brilliant defensively, and we need him offensively. I think he's just going to have to suck up the exhaustion of this season if he can. I know there's a lot of pressure on him as well, and play that number 8 role, and that frees up another number 8 role. Now Kobbie Mainoo, brilliant season, first season this season for Manchester United. Erebechi Eze, I think more of a winger for me. Adam Wharton, I think, is really, really fantastic. But I'm going to go a little bit left field. I don't want Phil Foden in the middle. I'm going to go with Conor Gallagher. I'll throw his stats up on the screen whilst I'm talking about him here. But this kid is absolutely brilliant. I'd love him at Villa, a player that we're interested in. Yes, he does play slightly more attacking for Chelsea, but his defensive actions are also very, very good. He covers a lot of the pitch. I really, really think that he is an elite midfield option. And I think that midfield of Gallagher, Rice and Bellingham is perfectly balanced. We have the attacking sense with Gallagher and Bellingham. They also track back. They also cover a lot of field. They also have a lot of defensive actions in their names as well. Yes, Rice is just going to have to hold a little bit more. That's the way it goes in terms of balance for the team. And I think that is just the best way to do it for me. I'm sure there'll be some disagreements on Gallagher, but I think he could actually be really key to England's progression. And then you have the likes of Mainoo and Wharton off the bench, who I think will play big parts in this Euro. As we move on to the right winger position, and a lot of people would just throw Bukayo Saka straight in there. I understand why, I get that, but again, he is carrying this knock. He's a little bit injured, and for that reason I'm going to go for the Premier League's young player of the season in Cole Palmer. I'll throw his stats up, they speak for themselves. Yes, maybe he's a little bit better in a central role, but again, young player of the season. Saka is a little bit injured. I wouldn't want to risk him. We might need him later on in the tournament. We should be able to breeze this group, and Cole Palmer, like I say, young player of the season in the Premier League. What is not to like? He might not be the quickest in the world, but this team is going to be very strong down the middle of the park, and I think we can just pick teams apart. He's a player that can float into areas, pick up pockets of space, and then play deadly, deadly balls. And you pair him with, look, the Premier League young player of the season on the right, the Premier League player of the season on the left. There is the argument for Foden to play in that number 10 role, but he has been deployed as a left winger in the past. He's fantastic. He's one of the world's best players, clearly won Premier League player of the season, and he's going to get goals and assists from left wing. For me, he has to start. We have to, accommodate him into the starting lineup because he is that good. And I think, Palmer and Foden, we're going to have to play a little bit different. Our wing play isn't going to be the most traditional in the world, but again, they can almost float in and be 2 10s if they want. It makes us a little bit narrower, but then Walker and Gomez have the freedom to get forward. Guehi and Konsa, fantastic one-on-one defenders. Konsa is used to doing that one-on-one defending job for Aston Villa, so he'll be more than comfortable at that, and I think he could honestly back pocket Mitrovic with the ball at his feet. In the air, there could be a question, but I think they'll be fine with that as well, and it allows them to get forward and whip the balls in if we need them. And actually, Joe Gomez crossing actually isn't that bad this season. And then obviously up front, it is Harry Kane. That would be my England starting lineup for our first game of the Euros. I think Foden and Palmer can float in, they can float out. Again, you've got the two major winners of individual awards in the Premier League in your team. You have Harry Kane, who won Europeans Golden Boot. Bellingham, for me, is more than in line to finish top 3 at the Ballon d'Or. Rice has had one of the best seasons of his career. Conor Gallagher almost single-handedly at points dragged Chelsea into the European spots. Kyle Walker, probably one of the best right-backs in the world. Ezri Konsa, only Van Dijk better in the Premier League in terms of one-on-one defending and not being dribbled past this season. Again, a big part of Aston Villa's push into the Champions League. Mark Guehi, massively sought after, naturally left-footed and naturally good with the ball at his feet. And then Joe Gomez going for a career resurgence at left-back. And Jordan Pickford, England's standout performer of probably the last couple of tournaments with his heroics. For me, that's the team. It's better than the team the pundits have picked. I think that team easily wins the game. My prediction should be a 3-0 win. Come on, England. Come on, you 3 Lions. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you for the match review on Monday or Tuesday. Can we do it?